as an artist, and will you continue this drive in this new chapter?
Yeah, my most important thing is my fans, you know, and as many times as I can kind of, you know, communicate with them, and that's just all that really matters to me at all, you know. Of course, it's always hard if someone writes something about you or something doesn't go the way life plans. But as long as my fans are on board, I'm really lucky because I've kind of had this same fan base that's grown up with me, and it's awesome as I've gotten older, my fans gotten older, and it's cool also for my family to kind of see that from kind of the outside looking in also.
All right, this is our fourth to the last question. She says, if you were not in the entertainment industry, what do you think you would be doing right now?
I love photography and I love to travel, so I just think the greatest part, especially about the pictures we're able to take now, is I'm being able to share them with fans that may never go to these places that I am. So I love being able to do that, and I think, you know, it's very rare that we capture a moment, you know, that they say a picture says a million words, but sometimes it doesn't. I think it's nice when you capture that, you know, and you can experience and take pictures and come back. And so I love that, and I love fashion, so I would love to take, you know, pictures and be involved in the fashion industry too.
Have you ever taken lessons for this, classes, seminars?
I'm lucky. I mean, look at all the cameras around. So I'm kind of lucky, and my buddy, he comes on tour with me, and I've kind of learned, and I read about it a little bit, but mostly I've kind of taught myself. I know the pictures that I like to take, and I think it's like anything you do, any kind of art, I like kind of supernatural and kind of more hippie styles, and kind of bringing back the 70s a little bit. That's kind of the style that I like also. So I think just making the pictures that you think are beautiful, and I'm sure there's someone out there that thinks it is too, but you gotta take it for yourself.
All right, and our third to the last question is coming from MCA. They say, what was your childhood dream?
Always this, and just always, you know, I was always just excited to learn about every aspect of this industry. I've always wanted to be a singer, I've always wanted to act, I've always wanted to produce, I've always wanted to write. I've just always wanted to create things, and even if it's not for myself as an artist, but for other artists, so it's just always been what I've loved to do, and performing has always been my main one. I would lock my brothers away and make them listen to me sing. And it would always be really bad show tunes and probably not sound too good. But I've always kind of just wanted to perform.
All right. Second to the last question is from MCA once again. Have you ever disappointed your parents about anything? What and how did you make it up to them?
If anyone says they haven't disappointed their parents, they're lying. I can think of multiple times, but my parents are always give me the sit down and the lessons. I think the worst time I ever made them really, really upset was me and my brother. It was right when my mom had my little sister, and so we were kind of jealous of the new baby. And we went down and we broke a window, and my dad was like, "You vandalized. Not only did you vandalize, but your own home. Like, how dumb are you? Like, why would you do that? You're gonna get caught. It's your own house. No one else did it." And me and my brother, we had a tree house, and we hid in our tree house for like a few hours, and then we needed snacks, and we had to go home.
How old were you then?
We were probably, I think I was 9, because we just had my little sister, and my dad gave us a big talking to.
I'm sorry.
But usually my dad just kind of gives us talks, and we move on and try to learn from it.
How about as a grown-up? Have you ever had a bad adult choice?
Now my mom is the one that does the adult choice talking to. My dad's kind of oh, I did all the childhood stuff. Now it's time for my mom. Of course, there's always been times where they're not totally excited about your choices, and it's not even just one choice. There's things where me and my family are all completely different. My brother's got his entire face tattooed. It's there's things I wish he didn't have that on his face, but my mom's this is who he is, and this is his DNA, and this is what I created, and this is the person that he's become, and so she just loves us for who we are, which is, I think, the greatest. I have the greatest parents just because of that.
All right, and our last question. All right, what is the biggest, this is a very apt as the last question, what is the biggest misconception about Miley Cyrus?
I think the biggest one is, there's lots of things that people kind of make up about me, but I think the most is just how people could think that I do the things I do for shock value, or I do it for attention, or I never do. I always do things. My dad has always said, if everything you do in life comes from a place of love, you will always succeed no matter what. And so I think probably also just that I do love paparazzi, I do love the media, I do love all that, I do love rumors, because I don't, quite frankly, I think it's the worst part of the industry, but it's never going to change. So with everything you do, you just have to take it all in and love it. And some days you're not going to, you know, be totally happy about the way things turned out, but I think that's probably the biggest misconception, is just how people think that I'm kind of just want that kind of attention, and that, because no one wants to be talking negative about. I don't know who in their right mind, you know. So I think probably that is just the shock value factor.
Well, we all love you here in the Philippines. You don't have to worry about that.
Thank you so much.
And having said that, we would like to call in some people from MCA Music to present you with something very special.
Sweet.